Right, we're here with Wrestling Travel at the for the Love of Wrestling convention in Liverpool with the one and only Christian, or Christian Cage if you want to use whichever ring name. It's,
I mean, which one do you like better?
I would just prefer not Christian, just the one.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
It's like
It's
Prince.
easier. I'm not smart enough to remember two.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in with the TLC questions, which obviously is something you get asked about. I'm guessing quite a lot. These infamous matches you have.
Think?
I would say, yeah, that or the Conquistadors. I think.
Steal the show every single time, and that was what our goal was, and that's what we did.
So those matches, they were absolutely insane, weren't they? Was there any point when you started putting these matches together that someone said, this might be a little bit dangerous, or was there anything that got any stunts or any sort of spots that you said, no, we're not going to do that?
I mean, there's certain ones that you think up and they're crazy, and then you realize when you're trying to place it or to figure it out that maybe it's just not going to work. But for the most part, everything that we came up with, we managed to pull off. There's a couple things that didn't go so smoothly, but that's bound to happen in those types of matches. And you improvise, and when you have total trust in your opponents, then you just don't worry about stuff like that.
So what were the things that didn't go so smoothly? What was there?
I remember once there was a thing Jeff Hardy really wanted to do where he called it the Frogger because he was gonna basically hop from the top of each ladder and get to the belts that were up there, and one of the ladders shifted or something and he fell off of it. It didn't go. I mean, he still got up there and did what he was supposed to do, but it didn't go as smoothly as everyone had envisioned it. Just things like that they happen, but in the grand scheme of things, it is what it is.
So what's the worst injury you've ever sustained in a match? Because you've obviously been involved in so many high risk bouts that something's bound to happen that quite nasty at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure it was more wear and tear, over time, the toll that those types of matches took on your body after being in so many of them. But I don't remember any being. I mean, obviously you're banged up and you're sore and you have bumps and bruises and cuts and things like that. But I don't remember ever being badly injured in one of those matches. I think the worst thing that happened to me was I'd somehow gotten a perfectly round hole in my arm, about an inch or two deep, and it didn't bleed. It was just like a hole in my arm.
No idea how it got there.
Don't even know how it happened. So,
so how much fun was it? Around 2000 when there was you, Kurt Angle, Edge, and then there's stuff you did with Mick Foley when he was the commissioner as well. That must have been a great time to be a part of that, and it must have been a lot of fun putting those skits together backstage.
Yeah, no, it was because I was friends with Kurt. When he first started, I actually had Kurt's very first professional match in front of a crowd.
All right.
I wrestled Kurt, and so he and I had gone way back, and we just had a good chemistry. And his kind of aloof attitude, but he's like this real ass kicker, but it was kind of a little gullible and stuff like that, and he wasn't afraid to. And that's the thing too, he understood the entertainment side of it, even though he's this legit gold medalist badass, and that even made it better. But I just remember we had so much fun, and we were throwing stuff around backstage when the cameras weren't rolling. If we were laughing, we're figuring, hey, this is funny to us, maybe other people find it funny too, so we put it out there.
So what's one of the funniest stories you can remember from that time that people want us in backstage, whether it was on the road or whether it was at an event or anything like that? What was some of the things that really stand out to you from that time?
Man, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this on the air.
We're fine. We'll be all right.
You put me on the spot. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
That's absolutely fair. So what? You won the world title in a ladder match with Alberto Del Rio, which was your first world title in WWE. Did you know beforehand that they were going to have you drop the title to Randy Orton a couple of days later, or was that a very last minute decision? what was the plan there to go into the feud with Randy?
Yeah, I didn't know going into the match, but after we had a conversation after the pay-per-view, and was told the direction and what was happening and what needed to happen. It was at a time where I think there was I don't know if it was a draft but they did some talent swapping. So SmackDown had lost a lot of talent that had gone over to Raw, and I guess at the time Randy and I were the two most established guys while they were trying to build up some younger talent coming up. And the problem was, Randy had just become a fan favorite, so somebody had to turn. And that was me, and I feel like I did my best work as a heel anyway. So I was more than happy to do it. And obviously, you saw the quality of the matches that Randy and I had in 2011, and he's by far my favorite singles opponent. And we had an amazing run that year.
So there's a story going around. I'm sure I saw something about it a little while back about when Steve Austin came up with the what. Mm-hmm. I think was it a phone call to you where that started? He left you a message on your voicemail or something, and he kept shouting it down the phone or something. Is that how it began?
What?
Are you wanting me now? Is that? I didn't know whether that was like legit or whether.
Yeah. No. We landed in Chicago, and we had a show that day, I think in Rockford, Illinois, and it was a couple-hour drive away. So I landed and went to the gym, and this gym we used to go to in Chicago was downstairs in like a basement, so there was no cell phone service. When I came out of the gym, I guess Steve, when landed, he went straight to the town, and had a voicemail from him. And I was like, well, what's this about? So he's just calling me. He was bored, so he was calling to talk, and I didn't answer, so he left this rambling voicemail on my on my answering machine. So it was he was just like saying random stuff like, hey, I'm just passing this tree. What? I said I'm passing a tree. What? And then he was just random, like about anything, and I was like, what is he talking about? And I got there, I was like, what was with that voicemail you left me? And he's like, I don't know, I was just bored, I was just rambling. And then I wish I had kept it. And then probably a week or two later, I was sitting in the back on Raw, and I heard him. I could just hear the audio from him out doing a promo in the ring, and I heard him doing the what. I was like, I can't believe he's gonna do this, and he's gonna get it over. It's so funny.
So what is you? Obviously, in the past couple of years, it feels like tag team wrestling's undergone a real resurgence. In that the WWE, you've got the Revival, you've got the Usos, you've got the New Day, and a few other teams, and NXT especially as well. And then you also got the Young Bucks, who have really sort of taken off over the last few years. What do you think the secret to great tag team wrestling is?
What?
I can't.
I think the secret of tag team wrestling is committing to being a tag team. You have to put your ego aside as far as wanting to be, have the spotlight solely on yourself. You have to commit to the team and realize that it's a 50-50 partnership. And once you do that, and you build that chemistry and realize that both parties involved have the same goal, that's to me the formula for a successful tag team.
Okay, so finally, what's the weirdest or most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you during a match?
The weirdest thing? Man. It was actually right before I started with WWE. It wasn't even that weird. I was walking down the aisle. I was a heel, and a guy said something to me, and I said something to him back. And when I got in the ring, I turned around, and he was crawling through the ropes. He had jumped the barricade, and he was coming in. So I'm standing there. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight this guy now. This is great. So he comes charging at me, and it was like a matador and a bull. Like the guy was charging at me, and I looked at him charging. And I was like, I literally just sidestepped him, and he kept going through the ropes on the other side and fell out, and then the security grabbed him. It was so funny.
Christian, thank you so much for being here today and taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm sure it was probably better for you than it was for me, but
yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much.